Luo Feng looked at the endless winding serpent before him, its cold eyes fixed on Luo Feng, filled with wrath. Stop. Luo Feng looked at the other, smiling indifferently. Infinite Snake Ancestor. I haven't done much killing recently. The Infinite Snake Ancestor glared at Luo Feng, unwilling to accept the fact, yet it knew clearly. This newly ascended cultivator lord has become a terrifying enemy to the innate primordial camp. This formidable foe is incredibly powerful, and it's rising rapidly. According to their predictions, this Lord Luo Feng might surpass the Starlight Lord in the future, becoming the greatest threat. Lord Luo Feng, the Infinite Snake Ancestor spoke, its voice thunderous. In the recent 100 epochs, you have intercepted and killed all world-level primordial life forms devouring the source world. More than 7,000 world-level primordial have died by your hands. You indeed haven't continued killing recently, and that's because ... Those world-level primordial beings are scared, no longer daring to devour source world resources. That's a good thing. Luo Feng nodded slightly. Innate primordial life, born to break free from the braided cage. The endless primordial space nurtures a variety of resources that can facilitate their growth. They fundamentally don't need to devour the source world origin. Without devouring the source world origin, innate primordial life can still grow stronger and become ancestors. Luo Feng smiled, looking at the Infinite Snake Ancestor. In this way, innate primordial life and source world creatures need not become mortal enemies. The Infinite Snake Ancestor paused. Not devouring. Innate primordial life comprises various species. Some species benefit greatly from devouring the source world origin, while others gain little effect. Some species have no effect at all. However, the infinite race is deemed the species with the best effect from devouring the source world origin. Making them abandon the source world origin would diminish their hope of birthing ancestors by 70 to 80%. This cannot be tolerated. Impossible. The Infinite Snake Ancestor roared in anger. The source world is scattered across the endless primordial space. Why should I abandon this resource? Luo Feng, the Infinite Snake Ancestor stared at Luo Feng. You should know, most innate primordial life species need the source world origin. By blocking this, you're turning against all innate primordial life. You don't represent all innate primordial life. Luo Feng looked at it. Since you aim to devour the source world, being counter-attacked by source world creatures is only right. To devour the source world, only to be counter-slaughtered by source world creatures. This is causality. I remind you, the Infinite Snake Ancestor said, preventing many species from devouring source world resources. Short-term patience can be endured, but over time, it will trigger new wars. Then the flames of war will spread across your cultivator territory, many world groups will fall, and these consequences you must also bear. Infinite Snake Ancestor, rest assured. Luo Feng looked at it. I promise you, once war begins, the fires will certainly spread to your territory. In the last war, I had just become a lord. My means were average, only managing to kill a few ancestors. Luo Feng grinned. Recently, I've made a breakthrough in strength. If another war starts, I'll definitely bring you a bigger surprise. The Infinite Snake Ancestor immediately thought of it. Thought of that terrifying origin great destruction. Luo Feng's current strength has clearly further advanced. His means would definitely be more troublesome. Your cultivator camp just needs to bear the consequences. The Infinite Snake Ancestor left coldly. Then its figure turned to void, completely vanished without a trace. Luo Feng stood in midair. Start another war? Do you have that capability? Luo Feng mockingly thought, not looking down on the Infinite Snake Ancestor, but the cultivator camp and innate primordial camp have been at odds for too long. Both sides know each other too well. Infinite Snake Ancestor, indeed the most influential in the innate primordial camp, yet still limited. First, those ancestors of species not much needing source world resources are unwilling to start a war. Those weaker in power, at risk of dying, are also unwilling to start a war. The faction of the giant god emperor doesn't like war either. How many ancestors can the Infinite Snake Ancestor rally for battle? One must know, all 8 cultivator lords are undying and imperishable. Among the innate primordial camp, those ancestors, only 5 are undying and imperishable. Others, over 100, may face death. Without sufficient advantage, without sufficient safety, how many would be willing to fight? Merely intercepting thousands of world-level primordials is enough to start a war. Luo Feng doesn't believe, nor does the Starlight Lord who can observe countless future possibilities. The innate primordial camp, the 9 emperors' avatars gathered. Luo Feng is stronger. Once war breaks out, the casualties are unpredictable. Initial said, Luo Feng has not wantonly slaughtered. As long as Source World Origin is not devoured, there's no conflict. The giant god emperor remarked, infinite. I think your infinite race overestimates the Source World Origin. Occasionally abstaining from the Source World Origin might better assist the evolution of the life core. Having insufficient strength and forcibly starting a war would only be more disgraceful. The Black Tide Ancestor said indifferently. The Infinite Snake Ancestor looked at the scene before it. Even among the 9 emperors, those willing to start a war are few because their interests aren't affected. Should we just let this Luo Feng oppress us? The Silent Extinction Ancestor spoke, longing for the outbreak of war, seeing its old friend Infinite Ancestor already undying and imperishable, while it was still lacking. It's not exactly oppression. The Infinite Ancestor smiled. The two camps often have conflicts. Innate primordial life also venture into the cultivated territory to seize resources. What Luo Feng has done is much more restrained than the Starlight Lord. Once, the Starlight Lord, to collect the innate primordial bloodline, killed world-level primordial life numbering several tens of thousands. At least Luo Feng is reasonable, targeting only world-level primordial life devouring the source world. Starlight was unreasonable, just to gather the bloodline, killing each one outright. It's not suitable to start a war, suddenly spoke the Mother of Spacetime. The other 8 looked at the Mother of Spacetime. Although the Mother of Spacetime couldn't observe countless timelines of the future like Starlight, she could still see glimpses of a few futures. The other 8 took the opinions of the Mother of Spacetime very seriously. I can see it, the Mother of Spacetime said. The outcome of starting a war is not favorable for our innate primordial camp. The Mother of Spacetime foresaw a war even more brutal than the last. The cultivator camp might pay a certain price, but the price the innate primordial camp would pay would be much more painful. Let's wait for now, said the Inference Fire Ancestor. Isn't Luo Feng exploring the abyss of destruction? The deeper he probes, the greater the danger will be. He will also reveal more of his strength. Once we clearly understand his power, even if war breaks out in the future, we will be better prepared. Alright, let's wait for now. The Infinite Snake Ancestor also realized that pushing wasn't possible, and relative to other lords, Luo Feng's strength was indeed a mystery. Understanding the enemy and oneself leads to better responses. Demon Ruins and Shoujo are both belligerent. Facing off against them, Luo Feng is sure to reveal more of his power. Inference Fire Ancestor looked forward to it. Time flew by, and it had been 500 epochs since Luo Feng intercepted and devoured the world-level primordial life of the Source World. In these 500 epochs, no further world-level primordials dared to consume Source World resources, not even the ancestors did so temporarily. Some newly ascended weaker ancestors might still gain some benefits from consuming the Source World Origin. However, as their strength grew, the effects of the Source World Origin would become increasingly negligible. For those at the level of the Silent Extinction Ancestor, consuming more Source World Origin was already useless. HUA beside the Origin Continent Origin World, within the mysterious land of the Blood Crane territory, the tides of the endless Blood Sea surged. On an island in the depths of the Blood Sea, Luo Feng, draped in blood-red robes, with black hair and clad in black, sat cross-legged. 500 epochs, I've seen all the source worlds. Luo Feng's eyes were complex. Over these 500 epochs, numerous avatars had roamed various places, observing the history of each source world. Not only outside the cultivated territory, but even all the source worlds within the cultivated territory, Luo Feng had seen them all. Those source worlds within the territory could be divided into 2 eras: the era of the Lord's rule and the era of the innate primordial's rule. In the era of the innate primordial's rule, the source worlds within the territory were equally tragic, left to be devoured at will. The rise of the Lords, guarding each region, changed the situation. Only then did countless source worlds have hope. All the historical memories of countless source worlds resided within Luo Feng's heart. These memories, time and again, tempered Luo Feng's inner heart, forging that heart of destruction. The sheer volume of these memories was enormous. After all, they encompassed countless civilizations and the lifetimes of innumerable creatures, yet Luo Feng, as a lord, could still perfectly integrate all the historical memories. The experiences of a creature determine its soul. These incomparably heavy historical memories also influenced Luo Feng's heart. The more one loves this world, loves this multitude of life, the more they need an unwavering heart of destruction. Because being merciful to those innate primordial lives that devour the source worlds is to be cruel to the cultivator species. The greatest mercy to the cultivator species is to destroy all those who devour the source worlds. Anyone who devours the source worlds, who devours the life of the source worlds, will be killed without mercy. Not a single one left. With the influence Luo Feng now holds, he can temporarily impact those innate primordials' consumption of the source worlds, but over time, those innate primordial species wouldn't endure it. At that time, the innate primordial camp might unite with the Ice Peak camp and weaker forces altogether. Destroying all source world devourers, this goal is immense. Even if I comprehend the primordial blade path, it may not be achievable. But I, Luo Feng, am willing to, in the endless epochs to come, act like the foolish old man who moved mountains, and do it step by step. Through this interception of a world-level primordial life, Luo Feng understood a principle: action leads to results. With strength comes results. As long as he acts, he will indirectly shelter countless creatures. Luo Feng smiled. The heart of destruction is formed. The next step is to harmonize heart and Tao, to completely integrate. Luo Feng immediately attempted, letting the heart of destruction govern the entire primordial blade path, as countless mysteries of the blade path began to integrate into one. Luo Feng's aura began to transform, resembling a destructively sharp blade, the aura of destruction far more terrifying than Jin and Kofu.